Hey folks, Mark Devine back with Mark's Daily Brief. I hope you're doing well. Super stoked to be here today to share some insights and some thoughts for you to help you stay focused, to move faster, and to deal with crisis in a way that allows you to thrive instead of collapse into fear or fight, flight, or freeze. So today's message is about moving fast and breaking things. This is related to my last topic, which was about shoot, move, and communicate. And I never really got to the communicate part because I ran out of time in that last topic, so I'll get to that here. The idea of becoming more adaptable is so that you can move faster. In order to move faster, you have to be okay with imperfection, with breaking things. You have to be okay breaking things that already exist so that you can remake them better, or just breaking things so you can leave them in the dust because they just aren't working that well anymore. I'm having a discussion constantly with my company. We have a number of services that were built 10 years ago, and they're great services, but they're just not gonna get us where we wanna go. And so eventually we're gonna have to break them and leave them behind, or break them into the component parts and reorganize it differently. So consider that in order to move fast, you have to be willing to have things break or deliberately break things, and to speed up your learning loop. The learning loop is very similar to the Hoodoo Loop. In fact, it's identical to the Hoodoo Loop. You just use a different kind of set of ideas to drive the concept of learning. So when you put a product out there, or put a new idea, or try something new, then you're looking for feedback. And if you set a goal that is like, I'm all in goal on something, and yet you haven't tested whether it's the right thing or not, this is what leads a lot of people to failure. They set these goals for things that they have no idea whether they're the right targets or the right goals for them. And so then once they're like, I'm gonna do this for a year and it's gonna be awesome and I'm gonna have all these results. And then they get into it and they get that feedback, and the feedback isn't what they're expecting. It's hard, it's very uncomfortable. They gotta learn new skills, they lack confidence. All these things start popping up, and then they quit and they realize, oh my God, that was just not the right goal. A better way to do that is to set an intention to learn some skills before you set the main goal. So you chunk it down and say, okay, my primary objective is to take 3 months to begin to learn this new skill, and to make sure, or to even ascertain whether it's the right skill for me. Whether that might be like learning a new language, or a new skill like a martial art, or whatever you insert. New skill for your business like online training. Get in there and figure out without expecting massive results right away, because then you'll get an expectation hangover. So we want to speed up the learning loop by putting things out there in small bite-sized chunks, getting feedback, and then basically being able to iterate really quickly before you set a bigger objective. And then set that bigger objective when you're ready, but continuously iterate while you're executing. So you want to have the constant tweaking, fine-tuning, and changing and morphing of a program or a product, or in your own personal life with whatever skill you're trying to learn, or whatever you're trying to pivot to. So in order to do this well, we've got to ditch some old ideas that we may have been hanging on to. One is that in order for me to get myself out there, I've got to be perfect. I've got to have all the knowledge, I've got to have all the skills, I've got to have all the ducks lined up. And that's never really a good plan to begin with, but it's one that's pretty common. And so perfectionism can come by looking for perfect intel, perfect knowledge, perfect data. It can come by looking for a perfect plan, or waiting for the perfect plan, and also waiting for the perfect conditions for execution. So if you ditch perfectionism and recognize that you're never going to have perfect data, perfect knowledge, perfect information, a perfect plan, or perfect conditions for execution, and you just execute, then you'll be able to move much faster and break things. And that's largely an attitude, but it's also a way to orient yourself in terms of your actions and your systems, so that your actions and then the systems you set up can reinforce this new attitude of anti-perfectionism, which will allow you to become more agile. The other thing to think about is trying to hoard tasks and hoard the execution components, right? As a leader, we really want to unlock the potential of our team. So we push decision-making down to the front lines in a manner that is maybe uncomfortable for you, and be okay for them to fail and to screw up and to test boundaries, and also to come up with some new things, right? So push decision-making down as far as possible. as a leader. And then lastly, I would like to say, this is the time more than ever to focus on service and contribution as opposed to profit and some sort of strategic goal accomplishment. So if you keep the focus on how you're serving and multiple stakeholders and how you're contributing to the world to make it a better place, then the profit will follow and those big objectives will land in your lap. They may not look exactly like you had thought about in your perfect planning moments, but you're gonna get closer to where you need to be, even if it's not where you wanna be. So that's my message for today. Let's practice moving faster so we can break things and rebuild them better. And take a moment to pause with your journal and ask yourself, where am I stuck? How can I communicate more effectively with my team to narrow our range of options so that we can speed up our learning loop and get things out there faster so we can learn faster? Where are we trying to hoard our decision making? Can I push it down to the lowest common, not the lowest common denominator, but to the frontline troops? And can I focus on service over profit and strategic objectives even more right now? Hoo-yah. Thanks for listening. Stay focused. See you next time.